Imagine two people. One makes $500,000 a year, but spends nearly all of it on luxury cars, big houses, and vacations. Another makes $50,000 a year, saves consistently, invests wisely, and lives comfortably. Now here's the twist. 20 years later, the first person is broke, stressed, and in debt, while the second person is financially free and living life on their own terms. Crazy, right? But here's the thing. Wealth isn't just about how much money you make. It's about how you think, behave, and make decisions with the money you have. And that's exactly what we're diving into today. The timeless lessons from Morgan Housel's incredible book, The Psychology of Money. Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, make sure to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on more life-changing ideas from the world's best books. Today we're exploring The Psychology of Money by Morgan Housel. Morgan is a former columnist at the Wall Street Journal and The Motley Fool, and in this book he doesn't just talk about money in terms of numbers or strategies. Instead, he talks about the human side of money, our emotions, our habits, our fears, and our dreams. Because at the end of the day, money is not only about math, it's about psychology. This book has sold millions of copies worldwide, and for good reason. It challenges the way we think about wealth, greed, happiness, and success. So let's break down the most powerful lessons with real-life stories and examples so you can apply them to your own financial journey. The first lesson Morgan Housel teaches us is this: no one is crazy. What does that mean? Well, think about it. Every financial decision you make feels completely reasonable to you, based on your own experiences. If you grew up poor, saving money feels like survival. If you grew up wealthy, maybe taking risks in the stock market feels natural. If you've lived through inflation or a recession, you'll think about money very differently than someone who hasn't. For example, let's imagine two people. One person grew up during the Great Depression in the 1930s. They saw banks collapse, businesses fail, and people lose everything overnight. For them, putting money under the mattress or being overly cautious with investments makes sense. Another person grew up in the booming 1990s when the stock market was soaring and opportunities were everywhere. For them, investing aggressively feels smart. Now, are either of them crazy? Not at all. They're simply shaped by their unique experiences. The lesson here is simple. Don't judge people for how they handle money. And more importantly, understand that your view of money is not the ultimate truth. It's just your perspective. This awareness helps us make better decisions and have more empathy for others. The second lesson is about the powerful roles of luck and risk. Bill Gates once said, "If I had been born in a different place, I might not have had access to computers at an early age." That was pure luck. And he's right. Gates went to one of the only high schools in America with a computer in the 1970s. That early exposure changed his life and allowed him to build Microsoft. That's luck. On the flip side, think about someone like Kodak. For decades, Kodak dominated photography. But then digital cameras came along. They didn't adapt fast enough, and eventually they collapsed. That's risk. The lesson is this: when you succeed, don't assume it was all skill. Recognize the role of luck. And when others fail, don't assume they were foolish. Sometimes risk plays a bigger role than bad decisions. In life and in money, both luck and risk are always present. The key is humility. Don't get overconfident when things go well, and don't be too hard on yourself when things go wrong. Let me tell you a story. Rajat Gupta was once the CEO of McKinsey & Company. He was incredibly successful, respected, and worth more than $100 million. But he wanted more, so he got involved in insider trading to try to multiply his wealth. Eventually, he got caught and ended up in prison. Why? Because even though he already had more money than most people could ever dream of, it wasn't enough. The lesson here is simple but powerful. If you don't know how much is enough, you'll never have enough. We live in a world where comparison is everywhere. Social media shows us billionaires, influencers, celebrities, and their lifestyles. And it's easy to feel like we're falling behind. But if you're constantly chasing more without defining what enough means for you, you'll never be satisfied. Instead, figure out what enough looks like in your own life. Maybe it's enough money to live comfortably, travel a bit, and support your family. Once you reach that, focus on enjoying it, not endlessly chasing more. Albert Einstein once called compound interest the eighth wonder of the world, and for good reason. Here's an example. Imagine two friends, Sarah and Tom. Sarah starts investing $200 a month at age 20 and stops at age 30. Tom, on the other hand, starts investing $200 a month at age 30 and continues until age 60. Who ends up with more money by retirement? Surprisingly, Sarah, even though she invested for only 10 years compared to Tom's 30 years. Why? Because her money had more time to compound. This is the magic of compounding. The earlier you start, the less you have to invest. The later you start, the harder it is to catch up. The lesson here is clear. Start early, be patient, and let compounding do the heavy lifting. You don't need huge amounts of money to build wealth. You need time and consistency. Picture this. You see someone driving a $200,000 sports car. What do you think? Wow, they must be rich. But here's the truth. All that car really tells you is that they had $200,000, and now they don't. Real wealth is invisible. It's the money in your savings account, the investments you quietly hold, the financial security no one else sees. Too often, people spend money to show they have money, but that usually means they have less wealth, not more. True wealth is the freedom and options money gives you, not the things you buy to impress others. So the next time you're tempted to buy something flashy to prove you're successful, remember, wealth is what you don't see. Saving money might sound boring compared to investing strategies, crypto, or real estate. But here's the thing. Saving is the foundation of everything. Morgan Housel makes it clear. The most important factor in building wealth isn't your income, it's your savings rate. Think about it. Someone who makes $50,000 a year but saves 30% is often better off long-term than someone who makes $150,000 but saves nothing. Saving gives you flexibility. It gives you the ability to survive bad times, take risks, and seize opportunities. It's not just about having money. It's about having control over your time and your life. So even if you don't know where to invest yet, start by saving. Because opportunities will come, and when they do, your savings will give you the power to act. What do you think people really want from money? Is it luxury? Status? Security? The truth is, the biggest value of money is freedom. Freedom means waking up and deciding how you want to spend your day. Freedom means not having to do things you hate just to pay the bills. Freedom means being able to say no when something doesn't feel right. Think about it. The most valuable currency in life isn't dollars or euros. It's time. And money, when managed wisely, can buy back your time. That's why saving and investing matter, not for the sake of having a huge bank account, but for the ability to live life on your own terms. Many people think the best way to manage money is to be purely rational. But here's the truth. Humans aren't robots. We have emotions, fears, and desires. And sometimes, being reasonable is better than being rational. For example, imagine someone paying off their mortgage early, even though mathematically, investing that money might give them a higher return. Rationally, that might not make sense. But reasonably, it gives them peace of mind, less stress, and more security. And that's worth it. The lesson is this: don't try to optimize every penny. Instead, find a money strategy that helps you sleep well at night. Because financial success isn't just about numbers. It's about feeling good about your decisions.
Here's something most people forget. You will change. The things you want at age 20 are probably different from what you want at age 40. And what you want at 40 will be different at 60. That means your financial goals will also change. Maybe when you're young, you want to travel the world and experience adventure. Later, you might want stability, a home, and security for your family. And later still, you might want health, legacy, and giving back. The lesson is, stay flexible. Don't lock yourself into a financial plan that doesn't allow for change. Build systems that give you options, because life is full of surprises, and you're not the same person forever. In investing, most of your results often come from just a few key events. This is what Morgan Housel calls tails. For example, in venture capital, a firm might invest in 50 startups. Most will fail, some will do okay, but one or two will be massive hits, like investing in Google or Facebook early on. Those few successes, the tails, make up almost all the returns. The same happens in the stock market. A small number of companies drive most of the overall growth. And in life too, a handful of key decisions. Who you marry, what career you choose, where you live, can shape most of your happiness. So instead of trying to be perfect all the time, focus on positioning yourself for those rare, big wins. Because it's the tails that drive everything. So, what's the big takeaway from the psychology of money? Money isn't just about numbers. It's about behavior, emotions, and mindset. The way you think about money matters far more than the specific strategies you use. Remember, no one is crazy. Luck and risk play huge roles. Know what enough means. Start early and let compounding work for you. Real wealth is what you don't see. Save money because it buys freedom. Be reasonable, not just rational. Stay flexible because you'll change. And never forget, a few key moments can define your entire journey. At the end of the day, the goal isn't to be the richest person in the world. The goal is to have control over your time, your choices, and your life. That's real wealth. If you found this video helpful, make sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel for more book summaries and life lessons, and drop a comment below. Which of these lessons resonated with you the most? I'd love to hear your thoughts. Thanks for watching, and remember, money is a tool. Use it wisely, and it can build you a life of freedom and fulfillment.